The marine industry uses classification to regulate itself by verifying compliance with the rules developed by classification societies. The independent verification of compliance with the rules is performed by the classification societies and includes the design and construction of merchant vessels and other marine structures and critical materials and equipment installed on board. In order to maintain classification, periodic surveys are performed during the lifetime of the vessel or maritime structure to verify that it remains in compliance with the rules. The benefits of obtaining ABS classification are responsible stewardship, which can protect capital investment by the owner or operator and vessels that meet underwriting requirements. ABS verifies that the vessel is built and maintained in accordance with classification rules and standards, and published in the Record of American Bureau of Shipping. Engineers and surveyors use the ABS rules and guides during the classification process to verify compliance of the vessels and marine structures. Typically, ABS receives a request for classification from a shipyard or an owner. ABS engineers conduct a plan review of the design. ABS surveyors verify compliance at a shipyard, construction facility, or manufacturer workshop. Once the vessel construction is completed, sea trials are conducted for testing and final commissioning under the attendance of ABS surveyors. When the sea trials have been performed satisfactorily and all the ABS outstanding items have been resolved, the vessel will get an interim class certificate, which is normally a 5-month certificate that allows time for the classification committee to review the reports. The ABS classification committee will verify that the vessel is in full compliance with the rules based on the documentation issued by engineers and surveyors, and if determined correct, it will grant classification to the vessel. From that moment, the vessel will be subject to periodic surveys carried out by ABS surveyors to verify that it is maintained in compliance with the rules. ABS engineers perform the plan review based on the design requirements of the rules and guides. The design rule requirements cover hull structure, machinery systems, and equipment. The goals of the hull structure requirements are to maintain structural adequacy, watertight integrity, and proper stability of the vessel, while machinery requirements are focused in propulsion and maneuvering capability, machinery, and cargo hazards. ABS engineers also review plans against statutory regulations when ABS is authorized by the Flag Administration to issue these statutory certificates. The hull construction survey begins with the verification of steel plates against the approved drawing. There, the scantling and grade are verified, as well as certification of plates. Once the subassemblies are joined, it becomes a bigger structure called a block. This is inspected to verify welding joints and alignment. Weld joint inspection is carried out by non-destructive methods. The extent and method are agreed by surveyor and shipyard, taking into consideration the requirement of the rules or guide. Blocks are joined to form a tight space, such as cargo, ballast, and tank, and inspected for structural integrity and tightness. An ABS guide for hull survey for new construction is available for more detail. Surveys of machinery installations, all associated piping systems, and electrical systems are carried out by visual examination, operational test of equipment and machineries, and by hydrostatic testing to confirm compliance with reviewed design drawings and applicable rules, codes, and standards. The independent tank in the engine room is tested visually and for tightness. Main propulsion equipment is verified in accordance with the alignment specification. Resin chocking is verified in accordance with the manufacturer's guidance. Penetrations for electrical cables and pipes are verified for tightness and fire integrity of the affected space. Cable penetration is run through an approved cable penetration or transit device to maintain watertight, gas-tight, fire-rated integrity of the bulkhead. Operational test and sea trials are carried out upon completion of hull fabrication, outfitting and machinery installation, and automation and controls as applicable. Hull and onboard machinery testing would normally be considered complete upon completion of the sea trials and remedial action for any unsatisfactory condition found. Once the vessel or marine structure is accepted and classed, it is subject to surveys for maintenance of class. The surveys are carried out in accordance with the relevant requirements to confirm that the condition of the hull, machinery, equipment, and appliances comply with the applicable rules. The owner verifies that the ship's maintenance is kept at a satisfactory level to maintain the condition between surveys. Every year, an annual survey is conducted. The allowance period is 3 months before or 3 months after the due date. An intermediate survey is required of some vessels, but not all. Dry docking surveys are required every 5 years. Underwater surveys may be conducted with approval from the Assistant Chief Surveyor. A diver shows the vessel to the surveyor through a camera connection. Special surveys require dry docking. The continuance of the classification of the vessel is conditional upon the rule or guide requirements for periodical, damage, and other surveys being duly carried out. Failure to submit from the owner any damage for examination upon first opportunity may be ground for class suspension. Equipment and machinery considered essential for class are certified individually. That means that for each piece of equipment or machinery, the surveyor has to carry out the inspections and witness the tests as required by the applicable rules. Drawing approval by an ABS technical office and witnessing material testing may also be required. The basis for certification may be government authorization, IMO resolutions and published standards, recognized technical standards per ABS rules, or approved proprietary specifications. Only classification societies are able to class ships and other marine structures, while machinery and equipment certificates may be issued by a class or other organization or by the manufacturer of the certified product. Classification covers a ship or marine structure as a whole. Certification may cover a single piece of equipment. Next, the transfer of class is presented. An owner may decide to change class societies for various reasons. An owner may purchase a ship previously approved by another class society and change to a preferred class society. Change of flag and trading pattern is another reason. Other reasons are change due to poor service delivery, consolidation of fleet under single class for a favorable service agreement fee, and competitive advantage. If ABS is the requested classification society, we may survey the vessel to determine its condition before accepting it. The transfer of class process requires criteria to be considered by the Assistant Chief Surveyor or Chief Surveyor regarding the vessel's eligibility. The responsible Assistant Chief Surveyor gives survey instruction. Once the vessel is eligible for transfer of class, key vessel drawings for hull, machinery, and electrical need to be submitted. Drawings have to be submitted to the ABS Technical Office. Machinery drawings are submitted to the ABS Technical Office. In addition to the submitted drawings, an applicable survey is required in accordance with the process instruction and as required by the Divisional Assistant Chief Surveyor. Any recorded outstanding items and deficiencies from the previous class society require complete rectification for the gaining society. Suspension of classification is a withdrawal of all representation by ABS to the vessel. Class can be reinstated upon satisfactory completion of overdue survey or recommendations, whereas cancellation of class requires starting over by submitting a request for class. Suspension of class may be initiated under delegation by the Chief Surveyor based on non-compliance with rules, defects or damages that are not reported to ABS, surveyor's recommendations that are not completed, non-payment of fees, or failure to permit unscheduled surveys. Suspension is done manually through the survey notification system. ABS provides reminders through email notifications. 4 suspension and 7 cancellation letters are always sent by hard copy via courier to the owner, with email copies to the Flag Administration through the ABS Classification and Documentation Center, or CDC. When a vessel is considered a total constructive loss, or TCL, or when the owner is no longer in control of the vessel, the Chief Surveyor may advise the CDC to suspend class, awaiting disposition of the casualty, and to notify the owner. The Flag Administration is also advised that due to class suspension, ABS no longer supports the ABS statutory certificates issued to the vessel. When a vessel's class has been suspended because of overdue surveys or outstanding recommendations, class is reinstated upon verification of satisfactory completion of the overdue surveys or outstanding recommendations. When a vessel's class has been suspended because of non-payment of fees owed for classification and other surveys, class is reinstated upon payment of fees. The owner and Flag Administration will be notified by letter. Cancellation of class may be initiated by the Chief Surveyor or his designee when an owner is operating a vessel contrary to our surveyor's recommendations or is in violation of trade sanctions. Class is also canceled upon verification from the owner that a vessel involved in a casualty is considered a TCL. The Class Committee can invoke formal cancellation. If considered necessary by the Chief Surveyor or his designee, class can be canceled at any time, provided 2 ABS officers agree. This procedure does not require prior action by the Class Committee, but will be processed through the committee at their next meeting. ABS is committed to promoting the security of life and property and preserving the natural environment.